Hi everyone, you're listening to the first ever Hearing Like Me podcast brought to you by Phonak, the hearing technology talk.
Also known as Mike's Tech Talk.
Your guide to the technology that is driving education, building connections, and inspiring advocacy to allow people with hearing loss to live fuller lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Jill Von Büren, the managing editor of Hearing Like Me, along with our audiology and hearing technology expert, Mike Waloszek.
Very good pronunciation, Jill. Yes, hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I always call him Mike Waloszek, like on Monsters, Inc.
Yes.
Mike Waloszek.
I don't know how to reply to that, Jill.
Mike is an audiologist at Phonak.
I am, yes. I've been here for a little while. Been an audiologist, just to give you a quick brief intro, I've been an audiologist for 7 years. So 7 years with ears. I love that.
So you're an expert on hearing technology.
I believe I am.
Which is great, because today we're going to talk about the basics.
I'm a bit of a techie. I'm a bit of a geek at heart.
We like that.
I'm a big geek at heart.
So you're going to tell us what is a hearing aid?
I will tell you what
is a PSAP?
Hell yeah, I will.
What is the difference between a PSAP and a hearing aid? And what is this new thing called hearables that we're hearing all about?
Hearables, yeah.
Hearables.
Hearables,
wearables.
Let's call them hearables.
All right, I've heard a few different words, so that's a debate all in one.
Yeah.
So we at Hearing Like Me have kind of answered this question before.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between a hearing aid and a PSAP?
Well, let's start with the definition of hearing aid and PSAP, just so we sort of know what the two different pieces of technology actually are. So hearing aid is a medical device, and I know everybody has these sort of let's put it this way. Most people sort of remember hearing aids as being these big ugly things, big beige bananas sitting behind people's ears, and I think most people have this whole thing where their granddad, grandma had this particular hearing aid and used to whistle and it was terrible and they didn't like it. It's changed a lot nowadays. I mean, they look totally different. They're tiny, they're small, they do so much for people, so much good for people. The amazing thing is it's a medical device, but it's also something that's specifically tailored to fit a particular person's hearing loss.
So that's the difference, right? With the hearing aid, you're actually going to an audiologist and they're fitting it for your hearing loss.
Exactly. Audiologist, audiometrist, someone who's actually got expertise in fitting hearing devices. And these devices are usually medically approved. So these are things which actually the person has it tailored or custom fit for their particular hearing loss.
Okay, so PSAP, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure I've seen these at stores behind the counter, right?
Yep.
You can go to Walmart in the hunting section and pick up a hunting aid, is something that it's also called sometimes.
You can. I don't know, hunting aid is one of them, but there's also other PSAPs out there that you can actually buy over the counter. Typically get them from department stores, you can get them from over the counter somewhere in the pharmacy, for example. So they are easily accessible, and you don't need to actually see a medical specialist for that. So basically it's just an amplifier for you to be able to hear your environment a lot better.
Okay.
With ease.
Okay, so when does a PSAP help somebody and when does a hearing aid help somebody?
So PSAP, typically if you've got a hearing loss, you should typically go see an audiologist or see your doctor and get maybe a proper hearing test and a proper hearing assessment and see what the options are.
Because a lot of people don't know necessarily that they have hearing loss. Maybe you realize that your grandpa is turning up the TV super loud.
Well, that's one of the reasons you can actually use it. So one of the reasons is you can actually allow yourself to actually hear the environment better. Some people use it as more of just a way of helping out their loved ones. Being able to hear the TV, being able to hear conversations. Some people that are even bedbound. I mean, some people don't necessarily use a hearing aid, but they can use just an assistive listening device like a PSAP.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And one other thing that makes a hearing aid different is that it has more technology, right? It's kind of like it is a computer, really, behind your ear.
Yeah, these things are super sophisticated, and this is the thing with hearing aids. It's amazing how much technology you can fit into this, how many features you can fit into it. It does amazing things. So as soon as you walk into, say, for example, like a noisy environment, it'll adjust. It'll actually reduce that background noise for you and really pick up on the conversation that's happening in front of you.
Because a hearing aid traditionally has more of the technology behind it. So they can do stuff like picking up noise, voice in a noisy environment, for example.
So that's one of the things that as I mentioned before, we typically custom tailor it to a particular person's hearing loss, because a hearing loss does differ depending on the frequency of hearing that we've tested. So now if we can actually take a hearing aid and we can actually adjust particular levels of loudness for particular frequencies, that's really going to help that person out. Whereas a PSAP, it really doesn't sort of custom or tailor it to that person's individual hearing loss. It's more of just a general instrument or a general device that allows all the sounds to be boosted up.
right? So you pick one up at the store, you pop it in your ear, and there's no way to connect it to anything. It's not connectable to a computer, so you can program it.
No. Traditionally, PSAPs, you don't per se program on a computer.
It's just kind of like a microphone for your ear, right?
It's like a volume control.
Okay.
If you take it that way, it's like a volume control. If you were just to wear like a set of headphones with a microphone attached, basically anything that gets picked up by that mic is turned up.
Okay. So at Phonak, there's this thing called Autosense OS, which is really the driving technology behind our hearing aids.
Yeah.
So what does this do? So
Autosense OS is super intelligent. So it's like it's an automated system, but it's an operating system. So when we put it this way, what it actually does, it allows us to analyze the environment.
Okay. So I'm in my car, for example.
For example, you're in your car. So what we've actually done here is the engineers have actually been smart enough to allow this particular device to analyze the environment and detect the environment, detect the different sounds in the environment, and from that, the actual hearing aid can then intelligently switch into this speech in car program, for example. So that allows you, or speech in 360, that allows you to hear that person who's beside you, and that car noise, that low rumbling engine sound, that is what's going to be reduced.
Right.
So it makes communication between persons in a car so much easier.
Cool. So the difference is if you wore a PSAP in your car, maybe you would really hear the cars rumbling at the same level as the person's voice.
Exactly.
Which doesn't really help you out.
It doesn't differentiate between the two sounds. So the sound that's important to us, typically as human beings, is speech sounds or communication between individuals. Not just that, but also Autosense OS allows us to analyze different things. For example, there's music in the environment. There might be different things like echoes in the environment. So all of this is taken into account. PSAPs can't do this. So hearing aids really do. They are a level up, or a lot of levels up compared to a PSAP device.
Okay. So my father, he's been a music lover his whole life. And every time I go to his house, he has his record player cranked all the way up as loud as possible. Okay. We've been talking about how he has hearing loss for years as a joke at first, but now it's like starting to get a little serious, right? Because he can't talk maybe as well over the phone. Yeah. So if he were to get a hearing aid, what's kind of the process of doing that?
Okay, really easy. All he needs to do first, obviously depends where is Jill at the moment. Is he here in Switzerland?
No, he's in the US, actually. He's
in the US, okay. Well, he's
in Indiana.
In Indiana. Oh, well, shout out to Mr. Blocker.
Yeah, he's listening.
He's listening? Lovely.
So if he were going to go to an audiologist, are there different levels of hearing aids that you can get based on the technology? Does that affect price or size or...
Basically, as with any sort of laptop, any technology, the more spec'd out something is, and the faster it works, and the more sophisticated it is, the more advanced it is, the more it's going to cost. And unfortunately, it's the same thing with hearing aids. You know, if you want to get the top of the line, and there are different hearing aids out there, but it may suit his needs, it may not suit his needs. He needs to talk about this. He needs to talk to the audiologist and really sort of go through what the features are that are going to really benefit him in his life and his lifestyle.
Okay.
So it's a very individual thing.
Okay, so maybe the basic line would just have the basic sound and noise kind of programs.
Sound and noise, you know what, some of the basic stuff is very good as well. It's very advanced now. It's automatic. It still adjusts according to the environment, just not as well as, say, something that's at the top of the range, at the premium level.
Okay.
So the premium hearing aids, basically, they actually allow us to do a lot more. They have a lot more features, a lot more functionality. The connectivity is different. So when I say connectivity, we can hook it up to various devices, not just smartphones, laptops, tablets, but a whole range of things, which we're going to get to later with the hearables, for example, or the wearable technologies as well.
Yeah. So hearables, wearables, what did you call them?
Hearables.
Wearables is basically,
wearables is a whole genre.
It's a whole thing. So
it's a whole thing, and it's huge. They're even saying that at the moment. They're looking at it, and they're saying it's going to be worth about $20 billion.
I just saw a stat. Yeah.
And that's massive, right?
They say that... okay, well, you know that the Consumer Electronics Show just happened in January, right? Apparently 200,000 people were there. Oh, and actually, massive. Hearables was a big topic.
It's huge. It's growing at a ridiculous rate right at the moment.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Because
that's a great thing.
They're allowing the hard of hearing consumers to get some actual real technology.
Well, it's allowing a lot more connectivity. And not only that, but, hearables... Now, hearables, unfortunately, they're not the same as PSAPs and hearing aids, and I think you're aware of that.
Yeah, so there's a wide variety, I guess, of this wearable technology, and
Yeah.
I think at first it kind of started with the smartwatch.
Yeah.
I think that was the first kind of
that was
mainstream.
the first thing that came on the market that really sort of set wearables, not hearables, but wearables into motion.
Yeah, we recently had an article on HearingLikeMe by Matt Gilbert, who's a professional rugby player in the UK.
Yeah.
And he had gotten a smartwatch for Christmas or his birthday one time, and he said it's actually changed his life as somebody who has hearing loss, because he can do stuff on it like use it as an alarm clock and a vibrating alarm clock.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people can't hear their alarms going off in the morning if they have their hearing aids out.
Yeah, it even does other stuff, so like, tracking your sleep patterns.
Yeah.
Looking at your calorie intake. I mean, that is just, it's incredible what these things can do now.
Yeah.
Monitoring your heart rate. I mean, this is stuff which, for an athlete like Matt, that is going to be a huge benefit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we're already kind of thinking about, okay, how can we use this technology in hearing aids, and where is hearing aids going to evolve? And a lot of people are really excited about it. So
I think we all are. This is going to be huge for the industry as well.
yeah, what are you seeing in the industry so far?
Well, at the moment we're seeing huge changes. I mean, technology is moving pretty quickly ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technology is moving at a huge pace. And the thing is that what we're trying to do, we're trying to take advantage of this technology, but we also need to make sure that the technology is going to fit and is going to be compatible with the products that we're currently currently got in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but with hearables, you can do a lot. Well, the possibilities and the dreams, especially from the user point of view, is huge, right?
It's massive, yeah. From a user's point of view, hearables are really emerging, and they're becoming a bit of a force to be reckoned with, actually. Not from a hearing amplification perspective, because we're not really heading into that. They're more entertainment at the moment.
Okay.
But who knows? Give it a few more years, and most likely they'll be mainstream. People will be wearing them, just like, a few years ago we didn't even have smartphones.
Yeah.
And now everyone has one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really seeing this becoming a big thing on the market.
It's really evolving.
Oh yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
End users are loving these things. I mean, look at smartwatches. How many people have smartwatches?
Yeah. So it sounds like the hearing technology's there.
Yeah.
We have it.
Yeah.
It's evolving also.
Mm-hmm.
They say hearing aids, you want to replace it every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Not because it's breaking, but because the technology is getting so much better.
Exactly.
Right?
Things are speeding up so quickly, just like a mobile phone.
I mean, now you don't even have to use batteries for some hearing aids, right?
No, it's some of these are rechargeable.
Yeah. And so in the future, we're looking forward to seeing stuff like, maybe taking your heart rate, definitely answering your phone.
Yeah, listen to music, this is all stuff which is on the cards.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So am I.
Let's round
Shall
it.
we show you
Should
folks
we review?
Yeah, we can review by all means. Yeah, let's do
A
it.
hearing aid is a
Medical device.
A PSAP is a
Personal amplification device.
Which means
that it amplifies the environment for its user.
Okay.
Okay, but not in a specific way. It's just a general sort of volume control that lifts everything else louder.
Okay.
Whereas a hearing aid will adjust according to the environment you're in.
And it's specially made for you.
And especially tailored for you. So the settings are specially made for your individual hearing loss.
And one thing we didn't really talk about with hearing aids is the different kinds of hearing aids, right?
There's a lot of different ones. I think that's probably good that if we show these people next time, and we also go through the different types of hearing aids, maybe even what they can do.
We can break them down.
Let's break it down. Let's make it simple.
We'll do that.
Let's talk about all the internal lovely little things that are in there.
And hearables are on our radar.
They are indeed. I'm loving hearables at the moment. So what I might actually for a future talk, I'm going to test a few out and maybe give you guys a bit of feedback about what hearables do and what I sort of experienced in the field.
We should definitely do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. Let's try
it.
out.
And next time we're also going to have a special guest whom, if you read Hearing Like Me, you might know. And she's going to share her expertise with us on technology as well.
I'm super excited. Anna!
Oh, you just spilled it.
I know, but was that meant to be a secret?
No, it's all right. Ask Anna's going to be on board, so
okay.
We're going to look forward. And obviously, you guys can connect with us on Twitter at Jill Blocker, or
you can actually,
What's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Michael, not Wazowski, but Waloszek.
Mike Waloszek.
Which is a pretty hard one to actually,
We're going to put links to it at the bottom.
Let's do links, because I think it's going to be way too hard for people to try to spell that thing.
Also at Phonak on every social media channel.
Pretty much, yeah. Find us on Instagram,
And
Facebook.
Hearing Like Me every day.
Hearing Like Me. I know. I love Hearing Like Me.
Your source for all things hearing loss
Exactly.
related. So, thank you for listening, and until
Thanks,
next
guys.
time.
Until next time, MTT out.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Cheers.